Hello and welcome to all of you. I am Anil Arora, faculty in Electronics and Communication Engineering Department. Today, we will start the new chapter, that is feedback amplifiers, and this is the session 1. In this session, the following topics will be covered: classification of amplifiers and the feedback concept. And these are the reference for today's session. As you know, an amplifier is a circuit which is used to increase the magnitude of signal applied to its input. Here we have the block diagram of amplifier. This is the input port and this is the output port. The input signal is applied at input port and its amplified version is received at the output. Along with V in, I out and V out, we have two impedances in the amplifier, and this is the input impedance, that is the Ri, and this is the output impedance of amplifier. This is the R out, output impedance, and here we have the gain of amplifier, and the gain is the output voltage signal by input signal. So when we apply these impedances play an important role in the classification of amplifiers. Based on magnitude of input and output impedances, an amplifier is classified as voltage amplifier, current amplifier, transconductance amplifier, and transresistance amplifier. So we'll discuss each one of them in detail. First one is the voltage amplifier. So let's draw the Thevenin equivalent circuit of a two-port network which represents an voltage amplifier. So here we have the two-port network, and this is the input resistance of the amplifier, Ri, and here we have the output resistance as we discussed earlier, R0, and this is the gain of the amplifier. Now, if we connect the voltage source at the input, and we know that a voltage source is having the source resistance also, so its Thevenin equivalent circuit is, this is the Rs, that is the source resistance, and here we have the voltage source, that is the Vs. In the output section, we connect the load resistance so that we may have the output voltage. Here we will receive the output voltage V node. So in a ideal voltage amplifier, it is required that the output voltage is independent of input resistance and the output resistance of the amplifier. Okay, so here this is the gain of the amplifier, A into Vi, where A is the gain and Vi is the input voltage present at these terminals. This is the Vi and this is the V node. So for a good amplifier, the output voltage should be independent of Ri and RL. So in the input section, there are two resistances. One is the Rs and one is the Ri. So if we consider Ri is much greater than Rs, then the voltage drop across Rs will be very less, and we can say that Vi is equal to Vs. In the output section, again there are two resistances. So if we consider R node is very less than RL, then the whole voltage drop will be across RL, and there will be negligible voltage drop across R node. So with these two conditions, we can say that V naught is equal to A Vi, where Vi is equal to Vs. So we can say that V naught is equal to A into Vs. So by this way, by considering these two resistances, that these two conditions, one is the input resistance of the amplifier should be much greater than Rs, that is the source resistance. Second one, the output resistance of the amplifier should be much less than the load resistance. With these two conditions, we can say that the output voltage is equal to A into Vs, and that is the independent of Ri and R naught. That is the resistances of the amplifier. So for the ideal voltage amplifier, Ri should be infinite, and R naught should be 0. This is the for the ideal voltage amplifier. So similarly for the current amplifier, so let's draw its circuit. For the current amplifier, we have the two-port network. Again it is having input resistance, that is the Ri, and in the output section, instead of in the output section, we draw the Norton equivalent circuit, that is the R naught is in parallel with the current source. Since this is the current amplifier, so we have the R naught, the output impedance is in the parallel of this current gain, and that is equal to AI into II. So here also we have the load resistance, that is the RL. So on the input side, when we apply the current source and if you draw its Norton equivalent circuit, we have again the source resistance in parallel with the current source, that is the IS. This is the source current and this is the source resistance. This is the input resistance, output resistance and load resistance. For a good current amplifier, it is required that output current, that is the I naught, should be independent of R naught and Ri, that is the resistances of amplifier. So for that, in the input section, we have again two resistances, Rs and Ri. So we want that the maximum current should pass through Ri. Here we have the II. So if with the condition that Ri is much less than Rs, then we can say that the whole of the current will pass through the maximum current will pass through Ri and no current will flow through Rs. So one condition is this, that input resistance of amplifier should be much less than the source resistance of the current source. The second condition is we want the maximum current should pass through RL. So in this case, we require that the output resistance, that is the R naught, should be much greater than RL, so that the maximum current should pass through the RL. So with these conditions, we can say that I naught is equal to AI into II, where II is equal to IS. In this case, when the Ri is much less than SS, so here we have the IS, this is the II. So we can say that I naught is equal to AI into IS. So the output current is dependent upon the source current with the conditions that the input resistance should be much less than the source resistance. The other condition is the output resistance should be much greater than the load resistance. So we can say that for the good amplifier, the input impedance or resistance Ri should be much less than Rs, or ideally we can say that in ideal conditions we can say that Ri should be equal to 0. Okay, and the second condition, that the output impedance R naught should be much greater than RL, or we can say that for the ideal condition, for an ideal current amplifier, we can say that the R naught should be infinite. So for the ideal voltage amplifier, the input impedance should be infinite and the output impedance should be 0. but for the ideal current amplifier, the input resistance or impedance should be 0 and the output resistance should be infinite. The next is the transconductance amplifier. In the transconductance amplifier, we have voltage source at the input side and the current source at the output side. So we can say that the ideal transconductance amplifier supplies an output current which is proportional to the signal voltage. So let's draw the circuit for the transconductance amplifier. So as we said that in the input side, we have the voltage source. So for the voltage source equivalent is this is the source resistance and this is the source voltage, that is the Vs. And at the output side, we have the current. So we will draw the Norton equivalent circuit at the output. This is RL and this is R0 and this is, since this is a transconductance amplifier, so we have the transfer gain GM here. Since in the output side, we receive the current, in the input side, we supply the voltage. So the gain is, the transfer gain is the GM, where GM is equal to I upon V. I is the output current and the V is the input voltage, VI. So again, in the input side, we have two resistances. One is the RS and one is the RI. So with the condition that RI is much greater than RS, we can have VI is equal to VS. This is the VI. So with the condition that RI is much greater than RS, we can have VI nearly equal to VS. Since in the output section, we have the current. So with the condition that R0 is much greater than RL, we can say that the most of the current will flow through the RL. Here we have the IL. So we can say that with this condition, R0 much greater than IL, we have IL is equal to I0 is equal to GM VI. Since VI is equal to VS, so we can say that I0 is equal to GM VS. So we can say that the output current is independent of the input impedance, that is Ri, and the output impedance, that is the R0. For an ideal transconductance amplifier, we can say that Ri should be equal to infinite. Also, R0 is equal to infinite. So with this condition, we can have the ideal transconductance amplifier. So next one is the transresistance amplifier. In the transresistance amplifier, on the output side, we receive the voltage, and in the input side, we supply the current. So let's draw the circuit of transresistance amplifier. Since in the input side, we supply the current, so the Norton equivalent circuit of current source is the this one. Here we have the source current IS and the source resistance RS. This is the input resistance RI. In the output section, we have the voltage. So we will draw its Thevenin equivalent circuit. This is the gain of the amplifier. And this is the load resistance. Here we will have the voltage, that is the V node. So the input current II, this is the output resistance R0, And since this is a trans resistance amplifier, we donate the gain with Rm. Rm shows that this is a trans resistance amplifier, means in the output side we are receiving the voltage and the input side we are supplying the current. So again, with these two conditions, that in the input side we have two resistances and we want that the maximum current should pass through the input resistance. It means if Rs is much less than, now if Ri is much less than Rs, then we can say that Ri is much less than Rs, then the maximum current will flow through the input impedance. So we can say that Ii is nearly equal to Is. And the second condition, since we have the voltage at the output, so if we have the condition that R naught is much less than RL, then we can say that the output voltage V naught is equal to Rm into II. Here we can write Rm into II. Since II is equal to Is with this condition, so we can write that V naught is equal to Rm into Is. Hence, we can say that the output voltage is independent of the input resistance and the output resistance. For the ideal trans resistance amplifier, we have the input impedance equal to 0 and the output impedance is also equal to 0. So with these conditions, we have the ideal trans resistance amplifier. So we can say that for the voltage amplifier, we have the infinite input resistance and zero output resistance. For the current amplifier, we have the zero input impedance and the infinite output impedance. For the transconductance amplifier, both the resistances, that is the input resistance and the output resistance, both are infinite. And for the trans resistance amplifier, both the resistance should be equal to 0 for the ideal amplifier. Let's summarize the result in the form of table. So here we have the parameters. So this current, transconductance, trans resistance amplifier. So this is the Ri, input impedance, output impedance, and here we have the transfer characteristics. And here we have the, so for the voltage amplifier, so if we draw the table, for the voltage amplifier, the input impedance should be infinite. For the current amplifier, the input impedance should be 0. For the conductance amplifier, it should be infinite, and for the trans resistance, it should be 0. So for the output resistance, for the voltage amplifier, it should be 0. For the current amplifier, the output impedance should be infinite. For the transconductance, it should be infinite, and for the trans resistance, it should be 0. And for the transfer characteristics, we have V naught is equal to A into Vs. We can write AV into Vs, and here we have the output current, the IL or I naught is equal to AI into Is, For the transconductance amplifier, we have output current is equal to IL is equal to Gm into Vi, and for the trans resistance amplifier, we have the output voltage is equal to Rm into Is. So in this way, we can summarize our parameters for different amplifiers. The next topic is feedback concept. As the name suggests, the feedback means if some sample of output is connected to the input, then this is called the feedback. Let's understand the feedback concept with the help of this block diagram. Here we have the basic amplifier, one signal source, then one comparator, sampling network, and the feedback network. So let's label each one of these blocks. This is the signal source, and this is the feedback network. This is the basic amplifier, and next is the sampling network, and this is the comparator of mixer network. Let's discuss each one of these blocks. Number one, the signal source. The signal may be voltage source or the current source, as we have discussed earlier also. It may be voltage source or current source. And this is the feedback network through which we connect the sample of output to the input, and this is called the feedback network. Next is the basic amplifier. This is the basic amplifier. It may be voltage amplifier, current amplifier, transconductance amplifier, or trans resistance amplifier. And this is the sampling network. So let's discuss the sampling network in detail. So the sampling network, here we can see that in the feedback, complete feedback network, this is the sampling network. The sampling network is of two types. One is the voltage or node sampler. In this kind of sampling, we connect the input of feedback network in the parallel manner to the output of the basic amplifier. Means if you take the connections parallelly from the output of amplifier and connect it to the input of feedback network, then this is called the voltage sampler. In the other way, if we connect the input of feedback network in the series manner to the output of basic amplifier, then this is called the current sampler or loop sampler. Here we can see the basic difference, that in the voltage sampler, we connect the connection in parallel to the output, and in the current sampler, we connect the sampling voltage in the series to the output of the basic amplifier. So the sampling network is of two types. One is the voltage sampler and the current sampler. Similarly, our next is the comparator or mixer network, and this is the comparator of or mixer network here, by which we connect the output of feedback network to the input of the amplifier. Here we mix the output of feedback network with the input voltage source. This is the input voltage source, and if we mix these two sources, and the result of this mixer is given to the input of the basic amplifier. So this is also of two types. One is the series mixer, another is the shunt mixer. In the series mixer, we connect the output of feedback network in series manner to the input source. This is the series mixer. And in the shunt mixer, we connect the output of our feedback network in the parallel manner to the input source. And here we can see that if this is a voltage source, we represent it by the Thevenin equivalent source, and if it is a current source, we represent it with the Norton equivalent source. So we have two types of sampler and two types of comparator. In this way, we can understand the feedback network. So this was all about today's session. Thank you.